And we're also very grateful for our next speaker. I had the privilege and honor of getting to know him about 20 years ago when he was a candidate for state senate in the Athens area in a race that, frankly, very few people gave him a chance to win. But I met him, I was impressed by his courage, by his tenacity, by his principled conservative beliefs, and by the fact that he wasn't afraid of a fight. And he ran against a multi-decade incumbent. He won a race that very few people thought when he got in he could win. And as a result of that victory, a number of others, and Governor-elect Sonny Perdue getting on the phone with some of his former Democratic colleagues and persuading them to switch, we built a majority. But the thing I really like about the governor is he doesn't want a majority just for a majority. He wants it in order to get things done. When many counseled him to try to move to the middle after a very tough and bitter election fight in 2018, he rejected the counselors of timidity and the prophets of moderation, those who would ask him to clip his wings and not stand up for what he ran on, and he fought for and passed and signed into law the heartbeat bill, and it is now the law in the state of Georgia that we will protect unborn life. And speaking of prayer, please keep the Supreme Court in your prayers. They have heard the Dobbs case out of Mississippi. It will have huge implications for our state and the country. The other thing that I really appreciate him doing is standing up for election integrity and passing a bill that would make it easy to vote but hard to cheat. And after Delta Airlines and Coca-Cola and a number of other Georgia corporations attacked our state for defending the integrity of elections, he not only didn't back down, he stood up for the right to vote. And what I really like is after Major League Baseball boycotted Georgia and took the All-Star game out of Georgia, that we paid him back by winning the World Series. Our governor has made Georgia the best place in America to do business. He's lowered our unemployment rate under his leadership to the lowest in the recorded economic history of our state. 2.6% unemployment in the December report. There are fewer unemployed people in the state of Georgia today than at any time in the last 40 years. And that doesn't just happen. We're honored to have him. We're honored to count him as a friend of faith and a friend of freedom. Please welcome the governor of the great state of Georgia, Brian Kemp.
Thank you very much. Thank you all very much. Good afternoon. Thank you, Ralph, for those kind words. It's great to be back at Faith and Freedom. And, you know, I just reflected back to the Braves winning the World Series. And, you know, I don't remember hearing a whole lot about Senate Bill 202 when the games were here or when they were in Texas. But I'm honored to be here again this year. I'm also honored to have the person that's done the most of any person at the state level in our country to end human trafficking, our First Lady, Marty Kemp. And I want to thank you all, because I know many in this room are in this fight long before we were. And we realize that we are standing on your shoulders, and we are the bully pulpit for all of your work. But we have done a lot, and I want to thank the members of the General Assembly as well for their bipartisan, unanimous support on these pieces of legislation, not only to end human trafficking, go after the perpetrators, but also to help these innocent victims, many of them young children. I also just want to thank you for our prayers. I got to hear the tail end of what Speaker Ralston said, asking you all to pray for us. Lord, if anybody needs prayers, it's me. And I have you all telling me that daily. and Marty and our family feels that each and every day. I also tell you this, we are still living in challenging times, but I know for one, I am glad to be living it in the great state of Georgia. Because in Georgia, faith and freedom is still alive, and that's not the case around the rest of the country. As Ralph mentioned, we have a red-hot economy, record low unemployment, our jobs and investments are through the roof, and we're literally leading the nation in economic recovery. In fact, instead of growing government or borrowing money from China like Joe Biden, my budget proposal will return $1.6 billion of taxpayer money back to hardworking Georgians. Because the members of the General Assembly and myself believe that it's not the government's money, it's yours. As Ralph mentioned, we have the strongest pro-life law in the country, the nation's top election integrity law, and I also believe that I'll have the opportunity to sign constitutional carry after this legislative session. In a time where lockdown liberals in other states shuttered businesses, closed schools, and restricted places of worship, our state has been open. Because in the Peach State, we have chosen freedom over government shutdowns. We have stood with our law enforcement when others across the country want to slash their budgets. We have trusted you all and our citizens to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And we have protected the constitutional rights and livelihoods of hardworking Georgians from rogue local governments who want to play pandemic politics. In difficult times, we have made tough decisions because they were the right ones. And because we stood firm, because we fought back against the left, the national media, Biden's unlawful mandates and government overreach, and those who only want to divide us, I believe that Georgia's best and most prosperous days are ahead of us. But I will tell you this, we are not resting on our laurels. And the members of the General Assembly and I are here today and on these Capitol campuses because we have more work to do. During my State of the State address a few days ago, I talked about a bold conservative agenda to build a safer, stronger Georgia by prioritizing education, health care, and public safety. Specifically on education, I talked about the concerns that Marty and I have as parents of 3 daughters. And like you, we're worried about what we're seeing in our schools across the country, where kids are being pitted against each other, and partisan politics are ruling the classroom and the ball field. It's wrong, it's dangerous, and as long as I'm your governor, it will not happen in this state. First, I look forward to working with the members of the House and Senate to ensure critical race theory has no place in our schools. Our kids should be acquiring the skills and knowledge they need to lead productive lives and start careers, not being brainwashed into believing they are oppressing their peers. In Georgia, we're going to teach history, not divisive ideologies. Second, my administration will be introducing a parental bill of rights this week. This legislation, sponsored by Senator Clint Dixon and Representative Josh Bonner, I see Josh in the back, will increase transparency by requiring school districts to develop plans for parental participation in schools and provide a clear picture of their child's course of study. At a time when our nation is more divided than ever, we're leading the fight to ensure parents have transparency and access to their students' educational materials. This session, we began working with legislators on legislation that addresses obscene materials online and in school libraries to protect our students and ensure our classrooms and virtual learning materials are safe. and my administration will strongly support legislation this session to ensure fairness in school sports. With 3 daughters who all played sports in middle and high school, Marty and I want to protect the same equal opportunity for success that our girls have had for all Georgia students. I believe that this legislative session will be a historic one for parents, students, and hardworking educators. These reforms that I've outlined are common sense measures that put students and parents first and ensures Georgia's schools are a safe place where kids can learn, grow, and prepare for a career in the real world. Now, make no mistake, there will be naysayers. It's an election year, and I have no doubt that radical out-of-state activists who oppose these reforms will do everything in their power to beat us. They will attack us, they will demonize us, and they'll pull out the old playbook of threatening boycotts. This is their playbook. And the hard-working Georgians in this room and the great conservative legislators who serve under the Gold Dome have seen it all before. Because if you remember, they did it when we passed the heartbeat bill in 2019. They did it when we first reopened our economy. They did it when we kept our churches open and protected people of faith. And they did it when we secured our elections last year and bullied Major League Baseball into moving the All-Star game. But let me be clear. I did not back down then, nor will I now. As a father, a husband, and the governor of our great state, I will always fight to uphold the laws and the Constitution of this great state and the freedoms that it guarantees every citizen in our state. Because together, I know we can keep Georgia the best place to live, work, and raise a family. And make no mistake, Marty, the girls, and I, we are in this fight again for the soul of our state. And I hope you all will join us. Thank you all. God bless you, and thank you for being here today.